you've heard of.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Bands You've Never Heard Of. I'm your host, JR, joined by my co-host, Gery. How are you today, buddy?
I am doing fantastic. Why did I say that?
This is the show where I go find bands that Gary's never heard of, that I've never heard of, that you've probably never heard of, and I do as much research as possible to find out everything I can about them, and then I play the music for Gery. I tell Gery all about them, and at the same time, you get to find out all there is to know, all that I have to know, all that I know about a band who has yet to make it big. They don't have a ton of plays on Spotify. They don't have a huge YouTube channel. They're relatively small for now. And it is our hope, our dream to be a part of this band's story as they become the next rock band that you have heard of.
Yeah, it's the oldest question in the whole music business is why are you not big? Why are you not signed? Why are you not this? Why are you not that? Well, we kind of look into that. That's what we want to find out. We will actually look into what they're doing on their socials, what they're doing on their website, what they're doing on Spotify and on YouTube to make themselves more known.
So, part of what I've always tried to do with this show is find bands that I think are going to blow Gary's mind. And this might be the biggest mind-blowing band for Gery that I have found yet. I am so confident in this.
I'm so excited. Sounds good.
So,
because I'm a tough
part of
nut
what
to
you,
crack.
part of what our listenership needs to know, and part of the reason I think they're going to blow your mind, is that you have another podcast. It's called Gery Goes On and On and On. And this is where Gery rants about whatever's pissing him off, right? And he has a recent episode all about billionaires. Can you give me the 30-second synopsis of that episode?
I don't like them.
That's good enough.
No, the 30-second synopsis is that billionaires have no business existing. That, because they skew the entire world of everything. I mean, it skews everything in the entire world, from a financial and a moral and business and from everything. And they have no reason to be. That's the quick synopsis.
That's fair enough. So, the name of this episode's band is Dead Billionaires.
Oh, I love them already.
I thought you might. And the first thing I'm going to share with you is how I found them. They just popped up on my TikTok out of the blue. And this is their lone TikTok to have many thousands of views. And he even has a follow-up saying, whoa, this one really blew up. And so I'm going to start by playing you that TikTok video. This post has 63,000 views. This is the one that just popped up in my TikTok feed, and I saw it, and I hoped that I had found the next band you've never heard of. And when I dug deeper, I found that I did. So that's why we're featuring them on this show. I'm going to play for you that TikTok.
This message is for anybody in Richmond, Virginia. If you've been looking to check out your local music scene and you love rock and punk and power pop and psych music, you might as well come to Bandito's Burrito Lounge this Saturday. My band, Dead Billionaires, is going to be headlining. We have Painted World, who is an excellent groove rock band here in Richmond with some solos a la Steely Dan. That's my interpretation. Our good buddies Endlings from DC, who bring a psych rock sound for the end of the world, and then a new band called Receiver, who I haven't had the pleasure to see yet, but I've seen clips and they absolutely rock. So if you want to come on down, June 21st, doors at 7, show at 8.
So that's That's my introduction to Dead Billionaires, and it's not much other than it's a promo for an upcoming show. And for some reason, that TikTok video blew up.
At
Don't know why.
63,000 views.
Yeah, I can't quite explain it. You can also find it on their
obviously,
Instagram.
It's obviously from the name dropping. From the other
name dropping for the other
on,
bands. Yep.
Other bands
call.
on the bill, and you put them all together, and that's the whole idea, the whole purpose behind this podcast is we put all these bands together. We put all of our energy together, and we create more buzz. We create more for all the bands. It's not about the one band. It's not about this band or that band or the other band. It's about all the bands. It's about all the music. It's about all the art. And I know I'm speaking out of turn because this is JR's brainchild. This is JR's his baby, and I'm just the hired hand here. But
so
you know,
I'm the guy in this band, in this podcast, in this relationship that Gery and I have. I'm the pro Spotify guy, despite the fact that I know all of the shit that they do by not paying artists what they deserve and all of that. But I've been a Spotify user since day one, when it was in beta. And I have been a paying member ever since. Love my Spotify. And I know all the musicians out there are cringing as I say that. And so is Warren, the lead singer and main guy in Dead Billionaires. And I want to play you another TikTok that came out since that one that only has a couple hundred views. But Gery, I think this one's going to resonate with you quite well.
Oh, beautiful.
How can I get that to play bigger? I want it to be like.
He does have
There
a
we
super
go.
Have you ever
stash.
seen
I
anybody
like
who owes you money turn around and spend it on something really stupid? That's exactly what every artist should feel like when Daniel Ek puts over $600 million into War AI. This guy is using all of our collective artists' intellectual property to wage war with robots. And I think it's time that we really stop letting Spotify decide what we listen to. We need to reconnect with artists. We need to reconnect with our physical mediums. This also is happening the same week that a band that no one's ever heard of is AI generated, has over 500,000 listeners. They are not on our side. Our work is work. We better start acting like it. Talk to me in the comments. Have you ever?
Is this band speaking
I'm
to
having
you,
him
Gery?
on my next podcast, motherfucker. We are going to go off. It's going to be a 6-hour podcast, and we are going to go the fuck off. I mean,
I'm just gonna get you and Warren connected, and then I'm just gonna sit back and watch the fireworks.
Room, baby. We are on. We are on. I love these guys. I don't care what the fuck they sound like. They're 10 across the board. Let's go next.
I am happy to report that I think you're also gonna like how they sound. So let me next read you their bio as it appears on Spotify. I'll bring it up here for you. Dead Billionaires is a ramshackle band bent on scratching a primal itch, empowering audiences through effervescent, driving rock and roll. Dead Billionaires started as the songwriting project of frontman Warren Campbell in 2021 in Richmond, Virginia. The trio wields music as a tool for grappling with the problems of our modern society while having a hell of a lot of fun doing it. Their debut LP, Disaster Preparedness Coloring Book, named after a 1990s government-issued instructional book for children, serves as a guidebook for all those navigating the disenfranchising fog of our capitalist society.
I love that guy.
You're loving them even more now, right? Good.
Oh God.
So,
and he's obviously Gen X millennial. And because the whole 90s reference and everything, that is just, it's just phenomenal, man. It's just I'm in.
So on
And
Spotify,
this is the one. This is the one you were asking me about last week. You were like,
yeah.
I have a local band,
Would
and
not have been surprised if you had already heard of these guys.
oh
And I
no,
know you and
God.
I are both on TikTok, so I also wouldn't have been surprised if you got fed the same TikTok I did. And
Yeah,
it may
I
have
have
gotten
not,
you thinking. So that's crazy
and
that you didn't
I
get to
have
see that
got
one.
to. Yeah, I think mine. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about my. The TikTok. I get a lot of. I get a lot of everything. It's weird, but anyway, no. I'm going to search this guy out. Number one, um, and we're going to hook up for sure because
Good.
this is we're on the same plane, babe.
All right, we need to experience some Dead Billionaires music. And
Yes,
good news. Good news.
I want it all.
They've got videos. This is the music video and the song Curb by the Dead Billionaires.
I've been trying hard to mask my sadness, but it won't stop until we grow out of clean on comfort. At the cost of all our relatives and a spineless representative, swimming in their golden skeletons, and maybe we can find our way out. But we don't care how many people die, just as long as the stocks go up. We don't care how many people drown, cause we're still drinking from a golden cup. It ain't about what you wanted, or what you think you deserve. 'Cause we're gonna spit you out and toss you to the curb. Long has this future been sewn up. Now it's time for us to rip out all of the lies that we've been growing. And it ain't what we've been promised, it's just the cost of what they're selling. Could you give me one shred of evidence to show me we can find our way out? And the loss of our humanity makes the bosses wanna show their teeth. They're grinning in rotten ecstasy. And surely we can find our way out. But we don't care how many people die, just as long as the stocks go up. We don't care how many people drown, cause we're still drinking from a golden cup. It ain't about what you wanted, or what you think you deserve. We're gonna spit you out and toss you to the curb.
All right, Gary, your initial thoughts on Curb by the Dead Billionaires.
He has a great pop punk vocal. His voice is like perfect for that. For what their genre. I also love that he plays Rickenbacker. It's not the most popular guitar, but it has a very distinct sound, and he plays that. He uses that quite well in the song structure. That's not the most popular guitar, especially now. Back in the '80s, it was very popular. He's definitely honing in on that pop punk thing, but not the Green Day pop punk, but the pop punk from back in the '80s. And none of the guys in the band look old enough to have experienced that, other than maybe in middle school or something. So all I can I'm once again kudos, because you've done your history right. You've done everything is kind of hitting nail on. Now, why have they, why haven't they achieved massive stardom? They're a political band, pop punk,
Openly political,
openly
like
political band that are openly political before they make it big, and not from California, not from New York City, and so that's definitely going to hamper that's going to hamper your feeds.
So I think they do sound, and maybe that'll become more clear in some upcoming songs, a lot like Green Day. They remind me of Green Day. I don't think they're derivative of Green Day, but their sensibilities, they remind me of that. But you just pointed out something that is a strong reason why they might not be huge yet. Well, first off, they're pretty new. And second, Green Day didn't get political until, or at least not obviously political until way later, like with American Idiot,
Right,
Holiday.
when they
right? Like
became adults.
right. Once they were already a household name, they had the freedom to go there. And they frankly didn't give a fuck if it cost them any fans or not. And they could afford that. Whereas Warren and the Dead Billionaires, they're just never going to have a group of fans that they might have had if they started off a little bit more ambiguous or not so obviously political. And I'm not suggesting that they should or that they should change anything
not.
at all. I love who they are, and I'm glad they are, wearing it on their sleeve, who they are and what they believe.
But and on the flip side, as things progress down the evil trail that it is, seems to be going, that could be a positive. What we see as, oh well, that might be holding them back a little bit, because it's definitely held us back a little bit. That will become a positive. It will not be a holding us back. It will not be a holding them back. It will be seeing them as as trailblazers and everything, and actually boost their level of acceptance and everything. But at the end of the day, Green Day, when they're 14 when they put out their first record, and 16 when they put out 16, 17, 18 when they put out Dookie, it took them a while to get to hey, we're kind of thinking about life here, and this sucks. Obviously it came out during the the first Bush administration, which they were very much against the war and everything. And but onto the Dead Billionaires. I mean, they're living it right now. We're all living it right now. And if you're an adult and you have a brain, then you are and you're at odds with what's going on right now. And anyone in the arts community that is pointing that out gets my kudos, definitely, because I'm right there with you. And it's going to affect things. It's affected where I get to play, where our band gets to play. It's going to, but that's what you got to do. You can't just go along anymore and just go, oh well, we just got to be all friendly and stuff. No, we can't be friendly anymore, because they're the whole thing is really fucking with the rest of the country, the parts of the country that we live in and that we exist in. And
I've got Gery fired up, baby.
Sorry about that. I get
Well, you want to hear some more?
You damn Skippy.
All right,
I
next
want
we're going to
more.
listen to their most listened to song on Spotify. And from here on out, we probably won't listen to all of any of the rest of the songs. I wanted to start with that one mainly because the video is quite compelling and tells a story that backs up the song. But I just want to give you a feel for the rest of what they have to offer. This is the song Engines and the video that goes along with it by the Dead Billionaires.
Striving to make a good feeling last and try not to think of the past. What's a byline for a coward at the end of the earth when nothing he tries ever works? I'm an island, a rock shacking up with the waves.
It's, once again, very poppy, which I love because, I kind of get tired, at times I get tired of a lot of people trying to be quote unquote arty by, ignoring melody. And he's got a great sense of melody, which makes his political, leanings even that much more inviting to me. So
I'm hearing some influences like the band The Beat Farmers. Do you remember? Have you heard of the band The Beat Farmers?
oh yeah, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hear a little bit of that, and other bands in that era. There's a bunch of stuff that came out of the South during that era that I don't want to say he's emulating, but that he's definitely channeling, whether or not he might not even know them, yet he's still channeling them. So, and that's a Southern thing, I think, as much as anything. Because people are more than ready to go, oh, you sound like the REM or whatever, but people in the know will go, instead of going, hey, you sound like REM, they'll go, man, you sound like the DBs, because that's where REM got their sound, and so so yeah, they sound a little bit like the Beat Farmers, a little bit like the DBs, there was another kind of more obscure Athens band that I was thinking of, but
Who's
yeah,
the
when
DBs?
they kick into it, the DBs they were of North Carolina, and that's where the REM recorded their first record in the DB studio. And I wish I could remember the name of the leader of the DBs, but he was the original producer for REM. So they all came out about the same time. I'm not saying that anyone copied each other, but being that the REM played, they recorded in the DB studio with the DB's leader as their producer, they picked up a little bit of that, even though they already sounded kind of similar anyway, because it was Southern, that Southern college rock. So.
Gotcha. I was confused for a second because I've been calling this band DB, like what the title of this room
the
and
Dead
meeting
Billionaires.
that I did is,
Ooh!
I wonder if that's a thing. You think that it's an
Oh,
homage to them?
you just made the. Oh my God! You just made the conspiracy theory much deeper. I like that. We got a solid conspiracy theory that did not even cross my brain path until just then. Oh, we have some questions. We definitely have some questions.
All right, we'll write them down and get them ready. We will be interviewing the Dead Billionaires here at the second half of this show. But for now, I got another song you need to hear at least a minute or two of. It's called Straight Shooter by the Dead Billionaires.
'Cause I can't watch television from my computer. Tell myself that I'm a straight shooter and feel sorry for myself all day. 'Cause you know that it's so easy. Look down the river, lost in the stream, wishing it all would just go away.
All right, so that is Straight Shooter by the Dead Billionaires. You digging this guy, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a throwback to the early mid '80s East Coast, Southern East Coast sound or Southern Atlantic sound, which a lot of bands in Richmond, Charlottesville, down at the beach, of course, down in North Carolina, South Carolina, which was, North Carolina was where it originated, and it bled down all the way down into Georgia. And, it's very clean, but very punk sound. And and I'm loving the throwback for that. 'Cause I know this, you have to be my age to know that, to be there when all that was happening. And, he's obviously not my age. And so, for him to know what's going, to be able to emulate what's going on, he has to have had some experience, listening and doing some research and stuff. And so it makes me happy. It really makes me happy. Because that
Are
was
you
definitely
familiar with the
East
show
Coast
Shameless?
sound. Oh yeah, William H. Macy.
That theme song was by a band
Except
called
more-
the High Strung, and it's the Shameless theme song. And these guys sound a lot like that band, so I'm wondering if they're influenced by them. I'd like to ask them that when we get them here on the show.
I think they're more influenced by the DBs, and maybe Love Tractor. That's maybe Love Tractor. There's a bunch of that East Coast college rock punk. It's light. It'd be punk light, but some of it was very political. Some of it was not political at all. Going on in the mid '80s, mid to late '80s, and it was absolutely wonderful. And honestly, some of the top bands in the last 40 years came out of that. REM, the B-52s. Oh shoot, Hootie and the Blowfish. There are very many things that came out of that East Coast movement from the 80s to the 90s, and these guys are kind of a throwback, but also bringing it forward from that era. And
Well, I would like to play you another song.
I love it.
This one comes
Give me
from
one more.
their. I got more than one more, and I know I'm totally screwing up how many.
Give me
long I said
7
I wanted
more.
This episode to be. You got it. We just don't have time. But I do want to play you this song from their 2023 album, Disaster Preparedness Coloring Book. The song is called Checks, and the chorus of this song cracks me up. And we'll get to that, and then we'll break away. Here's the song.
You'd think we jumped out of the ooze, already wearing our wristwatches. The moon controls the time of the tide. It's never stopping. From womb to work, and work to sleep. From time to time, and week to week. Let's use our welfare checks to play the lottery. Use the winnings for our new frontal lobotomies. We all catch ourselves in the act.
Would you catch that?
Has been up for air.
I sure did.
Let's
that was
use
some
our
fun-
welfare
fun-
checks
fun-
to
fun
play the
lyrics.
lottery, use the winnings for our new frontal lobotomies. Hell
Frontal
yeah.
lobotomy. Yes. No, that was, that's art, man. And that's politics when you throw it right out there. Of course, not everybody feels strong enough to do that. So super lauds to these guys for just putting it out there and not giving a fuck. I like that. So they're never going to be a super huge stadium act, but damn it, they're gonna
Maybe they'll open up for Green
Whatever
Day
happens.
when Green Day comes to the East Coast or something. That'd be amazing.
yeah. I mean that could be the thing because if Green Day's looking for people to open up for them, and they're gonna pick somebody that is politically savvy at this point because they are 100% in on politics now, and these guys would be perfect, absolutely perfect for them.
All right, so we're going to finish up our musical tour of the Dead Billionaires by playing the song Keep an Eye. We'll play a little bit of the acoustic version of the song and then the full version of the song so you get a better idea of the range. Because I think this guy, he's got a beautiful voice, and it's not always obvious just how melodic and wonderful he sounds in all these songs, right? Because it's clouded by some of the punk rock. But this is him and a guitar stripped down. Warren Campbell from the Dead
All right.
Billionaires.
My name is Warren from Dead Billionaires, and this song's called Keep an Eye. It don't fall from the sky, but if it does, won't you help me track it and see where it lands? It don't come up from the ground, but if it sprouts from the dirt, won't you help me pull it up by its roots? And I'll keep an eye out for you if you keep one out for me. And I'll bring the reds and the blues if you bring the yellows and greens.
All right, now I'm going to switch over to the full band version of the song. We'll pick up right somewhere about where we left off with the acoustic version. Here we go.
Reds and the blues if you bring the yellows and greens. I see it in your eyes, the rivers and floods pouring through my weakened hands.
All right, so that's Keep an Eye, both acoustic
Let's lay
and non-acoustic.
down among the stars.
You wanted to hear that earlier, so there you go. Your thoughts?
Yes. I love the way the power that he has with the acoustic. It honestly, the acoustic was more powerful than the electric version, than the whole band version, because it simply because of the way that he attacks the guitar. He's not playing the guitar, he's attacking the guitar. When he has that Rickenbacker in hand, he is playing the guitar. It is melodic and ephemeral and everything a Rickenbacker is. But it sounds like when he's on acoustic, he means it more, and he's abusing it. the abusing of the guitar to get his point across. Once again, vocals angelic on both. Some of the best vocals we've had, bar none, on this podcast. I mean, everyone has their own greatness. I'm not saying, I don't like comparing bands against bands because everybody's different, everybody's wonderful. But as far as just pleasant, easy to listen to and appealing vocals, his are possibly the best we've had on the podcast.
I love that. All right, let's dig into getting to know the band a little bit more, and we will start with their website. They do indeed have one, deadbillionaires.com. They got that. They got that URL. I'm on the about page. There's a picture. It's the same bio from Spotify.
Oh, the tour dates look good. It's a really good looking website. I like that.
Yep. So there we go. We're on the media page now. There are reviews from their album, links to videos, stuff like that, press as well.
Oh,
so they've got a decent website.
That's good. That looks really good.
I want to show you one more thing that you might feel simpatico with the Dead Billionaires is they did a Kickstarter 2 years ago when they released their album that we've heard a couple songs from, Disaster Preparedness Coloring Book. And so this Kickstarter, I'm going to play the video. It's a minute and a half. It is no longer a Kickstarter. It's long over. But I thought, Gery, you might find this interesting. And it also gets us a chance to see the band as they are in their natural form, reading from a teleprompter.
Hi, I'm Warren,
I'm Hunter.
And I'm Nick.
and we are Dead Billionaires, a rock band from Richmond, Virginia.
You may have heard this song before.
After over 115 shows in 12 states, from outdoor festivals to laundromats, we're gearing up for our first album and vinyl release.
The good news is the album is completed. We just need help with the release and promotion.
This album serves as a guidebook for our listeners, navigating climate crises, brutalist systems, love, and self-doubt shouldn't come without its own soundtrack.
Catchy and tongue-in-cheek, we dive into dark subjects with bright melodies.
The vibrancy and immediacy of our live show is distilled in these 7 tracks.
To release this album, we brought on an amazing team of collaborators.
Michaela Friedman, album and merch artwork.
Ashley Travis, music videos.
Gibson Print, merchandise production.
Blue Sprocket, vinyl pressing.
Death to Slow Music, music PR.
These individuals will help us in the important goal of spreading our album to the widest possible audience.
Now, since we're releasing this album without the help of a record label, your support is vital to the engine that drives us.
We truly appreciate any help you can give.
How did their Kickstarter ring true for you there, buddy?
Oh yeah, I hope they got it. Did they get it? Did it?
I don't know.
Did it fly through?
That's a question we should save and ask those guys. Here in just a few minutes, we will be back for the second half of this show with the Dead Billionaires.
It's gonna be
so
fun.
look for that. Look for that in the second half of this show, coming at you right after the break. Before we do that, please know that if you have any questions for us, or if you're a band you think you should be featured, or if you just want to tell us how much this show sucks, that's fine. All of that's great. You can go to the website, bindhopod.com, and contact us from there. You can see all the previous episodes. You can get a link to the official Bindho or Bands You've Never Heard Of playlist with all the music from every band we have featured on this show. Gery, any parting words before we take a break and come back live with the Dead Billionaires?
They can also get merch. We have official Bindho merch on bindhopod.com.
Like the shirts we're wearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feed your podcasters, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll be right back with the Dead Billionaires. Welcome to Bands You've Never Heard of, Warren. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Excellent. So,
Pretty darn awesome.
yeah, if anybody that's still listening to this episode has just heard me introducing Gery to everything Dead Billionaires. I played him a bunch of your songs. I showed him some of your videos. I showed him your old Kickstarter video. I showed him your TikTok that blew up on you.
Nice.
We looked at your website. So that was his introduction to you as a band. For our audience, probably for a lot of people in our audience, it'll be their introduction for you as a band. So they have that baseline knowledge going into this. So that being said, what's going on these days with Dead Billionaires?
So what Dead Billionaires is doing these days is we are currently working on our next EP. We have 4 songs that should be out this fall.
Wait,
And we're in the process of recording that and playing a couple of shows around Virginia and just, keeping it going.
how often are you guys playing out?
We try and play out at least once or twice a month. Some months more than others. We just did in June. We did Asheville, North Carolina, and Nashville and Winston-Salem, and then in July we're doing DC and Norfolk is this next weekend. I don't know when this is coming up, but the 19th.
Yeah, this will
And
be
then,
this will be released a week from today as we're recording.
Okay, excellent.
So your show in Norfolk, it must have gone great.
It was excellent. It was very good.
The way I found you, and let me tell you a little bit about this show. So I typically, the idea for this show just came was we needed some podcast content. I started digging through the depths of Spotify, listening to a band, and then people also listen to, and digging in deeper and deeper until I found bands that had very few plays but were awesome. And so that's the premise, is to find bands that don't have a big following yet, but are making great music, have some awesome stuff happening, and try to give them the love we think they deserve. And I did not find Dead Billionaires that way.
Excellent.
I found you with that TikTok. That TikTok is the reason I know you exist. Why did that TikTok blow up on you? Because it's the only one of yours that has that many views.
If I knew, I would tell you and replicate it. I think that unfortunately, the nature of being an artist today is that you really have to throw as much shit at the wall as you can. And that just happened to be something that worked. And it was funny, like that little video where I'm just telling people about the show that's coming up. I was thinking about it. It was spent very little time actually talking about what my band sounds like or is, like during it. It's very interesting. I think like there's kind of this disconnect that a lot of people who spend a lot of time online, which I think is a lot more. I mean, it's a lot more people than it used to be, but it's a lot of people in general. I think there's a little bit of a disconnect between like what's happening in their community versus what is happening on their phone. So I think people get excited when they see you mention things that are happening in their area. And I think that's just kind of what happened there was that, for a lot of people, the information is kept through these different, like the algorithm is decides what you get to see and what you don't get to see,
Right.
to some degree. So it's really funny that kind of blew up, but I'm they got their hooks in me a little bit. I'm trying to do it again.
Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of the whole point, isn't it? That you get that little bit, and okay, I got to do this again, and I
Sure.
think that's what
Yeah.
they're best at, really. But did it
Yeah.
blow up? Did you get a lot of local response from that, or was it more of the general TikTok community?
I'd say that it was a lot more local than I had anticipated something like that going. But I think it's all like I've found that like when I'm trying to make when I'm trying to make those kind of videos, like I want to like point it directly at the geographical area, because like I think that well, the reality is that artists don't make any money or find ways to further themselves just through like views and shares and streams, like that's all well and good for, getting to know an artist, but like how can you support an artist? So I think like getting people to the show is always going to be my MO on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we've talked to a lot of other bands now, and from all over, and that I think that is becoming the new thing. Is that they're not. You can't rely on the internet to provide you with anything other than hopefully get you in front of some other people, and that's what we're about. This whole podcast. Let's get you in front of more people, and the more people that get to listen to you and to see your videos and such, the more traction you'll get, and possibly be able to go elsewhere other than just Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, Tennessee.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to say about like I think that there's this kind of older conception of like what does a touring band look like, and what does that mean for them and for the community that listens to them. And I think like I've spent a lot of time over the last 2 or 3 years trying to like redefine like being a regional band is okay. Like being a regional band is actually like way better than like being a band that is touring coast to coast all the time, because it's like a mathematical reality is that you will burn out your brain, and you will burn a hole in your wallet by doing that.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're huge, right, where you've got the
Yeah.
support of a record company or whatever, you got tour buses and a crew and all that. Yeah, unless you've got that level of support, I mean, you're doing most of it yourself, and you're traveling thousands of miles to do it,
Right.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot
Which
for a
which
small
we
crew.
did a little bit in 2022 and 2023. The band did 3 different trips to Austin, Texas, and back. And that was super fun and a blast to do. And I love traveling like that, but I think it's sort of like it came a refocus, was sort of like, let's like we need to reach everybody in North Carolina and Virginia and Maryland and West Virginia before
you go out there. Yeah.
Well,
It's a long drive to Austin.
Yeah.
yeah, sure. And I, we do it in my minivan that is my personal vehicle that I use every day. And I think like our bass player has a kid, our drummer has a job, like I have a job, we're all like making it all work. And I think that like like I would rather like us be known for like trying to keep that sort of responsibility, because that's the responsibility that all of our fans have to deal with every day. Like that's the thing that like like if you don't have enough money to make it all the way out here for this show, then like you're not gonna and
Yeah.
so why shouldn't we play Charlottesville, and why shouldn't we play Harrisonburg and Winchester and Fredericksburg? Like just because those aren't huge major cities, is like, why would we overlook them?
Did the TikTok work? The one that blew up for the show at Bandito's? Did you have a decent crowd, maybe a bigger crowd than you were expecting without the TikTok?
I'd say so. Yeah. I had grandeur of selling out the show, but we didn't make it quite there. But it was, probably 50% more than I had expected. And like
Sweet.
the other groups we were playing with are also incredible, but they're new, and one of them was from DC. So I think at the end of the night, we were like, well, I guess that's people came because they saw something on the internet, and that gives me a little bit of hope for
Or our,
where
our
we're
new
at,
method, our new method of disseminating information.
Yeah. Next trick is to actually get a a clip where I am playing some music to get people to be seen on that level. But we'll make it there someday.
We checked out a bunch of clips, and it's inexplicable to me why they haven't gotten more views, why more people haven't found them. I mean, it should just be word of mouth. Like, that is kind of what this show is trying to be, is word of mouth on a bigger scale, because I found some great music and I want other people to hear it, and that's literally what we're doing with this show. Is trying to get the word out. We liked every song we heard. Gery was just enthralled. I need to give you a little bit of backstory, and then I'm going to turn it over to Gery because I know he's got a shit ton of questions for you. But we've been doing a podcast together for a couple of years now, and we talked politics all of last year. Didn't work out so well, so we stopped doing that. That's when we started doing this, and he started doing his own side podcast called Gery Goes On and On and On, for reasons that will become obvious in a minute. And one of his first episodes was all about Billionaires and how horrible that is, right? And so when I saw your TikTok pop up, I was like, well, I have to check this band out just in case they're good. And sure enough, you were awesome. And I was like, the whole premise of the show is it's a surprise for Gery when I reveal the name of the band and read their bio and check out their videos and their songs. So he was just the happiest he's been yet of any band I've shown him. He's like, I'm gonna research these guys. I want to know more about them. I want to connect. And so this is me setting you two free to talk music, to talk Billionaires, to talk politics, whatever you want to talk about. I'll be right here just watching the fun happen.
Yeah.
Let's let it rip.
Yeah, man, you definitely had me at the name. Because like JR said, my first episode was Billionaires. And going on in that. So how did the name come about? How did y'all? Is it mostly you or it was?
Yeah, so the band's been a bunch of different things over the years. It's been me the whole time, and like I had a previous band called Little River Creek Police. It was sort of like some of the similar stuff, but more of like a folk rock vibe. And what ended up, through the pandemic, that kind of was ending, and I was trying to think of like how are we going to jump back in, when we could jump back in. So the name Dead Billionaires is kind of like came out of that era too. It was sort of like at the beginning of the pandemic, I was spending the day at home watching the news and just seeing that like everybody's major concern in this was how much money they were all losing, and I was like, is that really what is on, like, are we really focused on the markets right now? So, I've been a huge Bernie Sanders guy since like 2015. So
Feel the burn, baby.
That's kind of
Feel the
that's
burn.
kind of my my political origin, I guess, is that. So I've developed from there, but I think that like that had a lot to do with my level of thinking on it. And I was working in a restaurant during the pandemic, and like we were off out of work for a long time, but then it came back, and your boss doesn't really care about your like safety, and they're like, yeah, well, this is the rule, but we're not really going to do that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, at my expense while I'm making $10 an hour flat, it's like awesome, like this feels great. So I just think that like since then, I would have loved to have been wrong about how things have gone, since then. But I think that like in the last 5 years, we've really seen the nexus of everything costing a lot more, and everything is worse. Like every company is trying to give you a worse and worse experience than they did the year before.
And they're succeeding amazingly.
Yeah, and it doesn't center the people that are experiencing these things. You never like there's a ripoff at every corner, and I think that like the billionaire class has literally everything to do with that. So
so this came up during the reveal. Your name is the Dead Billionaires, or in the If you abbreviate that, it becomes the DBs. And are you aware of a band out of I think it was North Carolina from the '80s called the DBs?
I don't. I know that they exist, but I can't say I've listened to them. Maybe that's on purpose.
Oh wow! Because you guys sound a lot like the DBs.
Oh, interesting. Great.
Yeah, I guess just coming from the same direction, and that was something that I definitely had to ask. And my thing was if you don't know who the DBs are, you probably want to go and check them out.
Yeah.
And if you do know who they are, and you base your whole thing on it, then I was right. But yeah, it is. And it's just like serendipity that you're the Dead Billionaires or the DBs, and you have it's not it's sonically I don't think, but I think it's the whole feel of it that sounds so much like the DBs. It's that kind of raw, playful but very serious at the same time situation.
Yeah.
Plus the Rickenbacker.
Oh yeah.
What?
Uh-oh. Did we lose Gery?
Lost your.
Gery,
I
can
think
you
we
hear
lost
me?
something. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Warren
Can you hear me?
Warren and I were still connected, but we lost you for a couple seconds there. If you want to
Okay,
start
yeah,
with your
I went
Rickenbacker
blank.
question again.
Yeah, I noticed you used Rickenbacker and a jazz master. Lends us toward the North Carolina to Georgia scene in the '80s, which y'all kind of echo a little bit. Anything?
Yeah, I am a huge fan of the punk band from Florida Against Me, and
Mm-hmm.
Laura Jane Grace, the singer of that band, always played a Rickenbacker, and I just thought they looked so cool. And I had never really played one before I got one. It was kind of like the stimulus check allowed me to experience such a great guitar.
Mm-hmm.
But I just knew that I liked the way they looked, and I had heard that it was a guitar that strummers used. It was it was like this is the guitar where if you're trying to like do some real chord heavy stuff on it. I was like, oh, that's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
way that I play and the way I like to do things. And doing lead on it was an acquired taste, but
A little
I have to say I
challenging.
haven't touched the Jazz Master in a while. Yeah, it's a little challenging, but it's all the Rick all the time now. So
Oh, sweet. Yeah, because that really makes your sound, and I think that's where we get it going. Going toward the DBs. But do you find yourself ever when you're selecting a show to play at or a venue to play at, do you find because of your politics does that ever factor in, like, oh, who's going to come see me, or who's going to come see us, who's going to be turned off or turned on by what we do or anything?
yeah, I haven't had any experiences where I've felt like we really stuck out in a negative way. I think it is sort of one of those things where when we're booking shows, we're trying to do that. But I'd say like the closest we've come, and this was just, personal bias, having never been to this place before. It was when we first played in Arkansas. I was just sort of like, is this gonna go over? Is this gonna go all right? But I find that like the most accepting places are
reckon?
the places I feel like the most accepting places are the places that are willing to book a band called Dead Billionaires. Anyways,
Mhm.
I think the name is a little up there as far as you can glean what this is about
Yeah.
from the get go if you want to. And I must say that Maxine's in Hot Springs, Arkansas, is one of my favorite venues I've ever played. We played there 3 times in the last couple of years. Like, beautiful place. Beautiful people, wonderful venue.
Well, that part of the country is known for some good music. So
Yeah, that is true. We love playing in the South.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
And because you mentioned to stay, not that you're staying away from the big cities, but hey, why not play these smaller towns? Don't you feel that those are a little more starved for good music? I mean, do you, do you tend to gravitate toward smaller towns or college towns
I
or
like
anything?
it.
Or
I like it. I think you know, it's you're more likely to make a real connection with the fans there. You know,
Mhm.
they chose to come to this bar because, you know, I think that when you think about people taking chances on music, that's what you want. You want someone who's going to take a chance and say, "Oh, I saw that," you know, and that's where having a glitzy name like we do comes in handy. You know, I think people are more willing to say, "Oh, Dead Billionaires, what's that? Let me check that out." You
Yeah.
know,
Dead
so
Billionaires. I wonder what they like.
yeah, so it's very much like you know, like playing in a small town, you have less entertainment options. You're not looking for something that's like, because I'm from a small town originally. I'm from Berryville, Virginia, which is, you know,
Okay.
20 minutes outside of Winchester. But
Hmm.
you know, it's like you don't have all of these options that you do in Richmond or in DC. And I think that like it leads to you being more open-minded about what kind of music that you're into and you're listening to. And I think that sometimes in Richmond you get spoiled by all of these incredible bands all of the time because you turn into a snob and you think, oh well, this band doesn't really do it for me because I can go see these other bands, or I saw something incredible on Thursday night, so I'm not coming out on Saturday, you know. And then it
Right.
gets harder to bring folks out. But you know, when you're playing in a small town and that's what's going on, I think like everybody can get on board with that. It's always nice.
Yeah, that's what's going on in the small town.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Right. Yeah, it's not like they got three big shows going on, and the 150 people that are going to come out are going to get divided up amongst three different shows. It's like if anybody's going
Right.
out, they're going to go see the big show, and that's
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that I've always. I mean, I love way prefer playing small towns rather than going to quote unquote the big city. Although I
yeah,
played a lot in Richmond, I don't really count Richmond as a big city because
no, no, I
in
wouldn't
each
either.
section it feels kind of contained.
Yeah,
Do you
right.
feel that? Like you could play in Henrico one night and you can play downtown the next night and it's in completely different.
Yeah,
You know.
I knew that I had made a transition from being a country person to a city person when I started thinking of a 20-minute drive as quite a ways away. You know, and that's such a Richmond mindset because you know people in
yes.
Atlanta don't feel that way, people in LA don't feel that way, but you know in Richmond you're like, oh, 20 minutes, I don't know. Where was, you know, growing up I was like, oh, if it's 40 minutes away that'll be fun, you know. So
Yeah.
I would say it's contained like that. It's like a cultural thing. It's like, oh, going south of the river, that's a whole different thing than, you know, being in the
A whole
fan or
nother people. I
wherever.
don't know if
But
they'll accept me
yeah,
there.
yeah, well, they will, but you know, when they accept you 10 feet from your door, why not?
And
So
so
your songs. Oh, you got more. You got more, Gary.
I just had one more. I just had one more, and because
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you how about the Kickstarter and how that went for you. Obviously, you put out the record, you got everything, you got everything. But what could you expound a little bit because some of our folks are getting ready to start Kickstarters or have had one and
Yeah.
was successful or not successful, what have you. But how did that go?
Well, I decided to do the Kickstarter because I kind of had reached out to a couple of the labels that I thought might take a bite, and kind of realized that you know, we don't have the big city touring history that a lot of labels want. You know, oh, you know, we don't play New York City that often. You know, we're, you know, more or less it's a very regional thing. So I reached out to the couple of labels that I thought might take a bite, and once I realized that we weren't getting any of those, I thought, well, you know, we can do this on our own. And you know what it came down to was a lot of help from my friends, and I think that like this being the first record that we put out certainly had a little bit of a gravitas to it that um, I got really lucky in that my friend Michaela Friedman, you know, like gave me a really steep discount for art, And I think like my friend Ashley Travis, who did all 3 of our music videos, she, was so helpful in all of that. And basically what I did was I got a credit card that had 0 interest for 12 months. So back then it was like a 10 or 11 month time frame to get vinyl back. So we did it with Blue Sprocket pressing in Harrisonburg, which rest in peace. But it it had such a long turnaround that I thought, okay, well, if I pay for this now and then we run the Kickstarter, I can pay myself back, before this is all out. And I've they're in the closet back there, but I've still got like 150 records. So
Wow.
and it feels good that they're all paid for. They're not burning a hole.
Sweet.
But
Cash money.
But I mean, it was a very. I think that like the closest thing I can probably compare it to is like NPR pledge drive season or something like that. It's very much you do spend a lot of time worrying about what your artistic worth is to your friends and your family. Like and everyone who's ever seen you play live, because that's kind of the net you need to cast to hopefully reach the mark. Luckily at the time I was a full-time musician and I wasn't working. I was working odd jobs, but didn't have a full-time day job. So like, my girlfriend was very patient with me for the 30 days where I was losing my mind trying to get this Kickstarter funded. So
Yeah, we went through that
Did you? Yeah.
The 30 days of hell with the Kickstarter.
yeah, it's very stressful.
We
And then everybody loves to give in the
You're
last
saying we?
26, the last 3
Hey,
days.
I helped you make that Kickstarter video, buddy. I was invested. But yeah, he felt a lot more pain than I did. Way more personal for Gery.
Sure.
yeah.
So if I wanted
and,
one of those
so
records,
did you get?
I need to show up at a show, right? Because I don't
Oh,
see a
you
way
could-
to order it
Yeah.
on your website.
You can also go to
Yeah, I didn't see a way.
deadbillionaires.bandcamp.com.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
There's a spot. Hold on. Let me see. I'm the website
Yeah.
editor. So I'm looking at this.
Okay. Yeah.
All
Because
right,
I didn't.
all right,
I
so-
didn't see a way to get it on there.
It should be, there's like 3 images. The last image says stream it here and then purchase vinyl below that. I need to get on my webmaster about this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I saw the. You said you're the webmaster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. You could definitely make that a little bit a little more accessible. There it is. Bandcamp.
yeah. I missed the purchase vinyl down at the bottom under the record.
I know. We gotta.
yeah.
You need a like a shop or a store or merch or something label at the top of
Yeah.
the site.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll get on that. I'm always tinkering with this. I like our website.
And
I like
and you
how
guys
we've done it, but-
have some great artwork. Have you thought about merch and T-shirts and that?
Oh
kind
yeah,
of stuff?
we've got it. Yeah, if you go to that link where it says,
Well, let's put it
purchase
on your website,
vinyl,
man.
It's
Get
on the
people-
website.
get
Purchase
people-
vinyl. Here, I'm putting it in the chat.
No, I got it. I mean, I was just there, but then is there T-shirts there too?
I've got a couple
Where's
of
the T-shirt? I
shirts.
don't know.
Here, hold on.
Oh, there it is. Merch.
Our listeners can
There
listen
we
to
go.
us and watch us looking at websites.
Oh yeah. So you got everything. You got everything up on Bandcamp. Okay. So I can see that now, but it's. So if we could make one suggestion, kind of point people there better,
Right.
And that would,
yeah,
that
I'm definitely
couldn't
working on
hurt.
that. I think we're very much. It's one of those things where like the Bandcamp's a pretty good platform for all of that sort of stuff, but there's like a physical goods percentage they take out as well as their 10% cut. So it's one of those things where I'm pushing it a lot on. Y'all know about Bandcamp Friday, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do Bandcamp.
I-
We actually do it right in house. We just try to do everything in house.
Nice. That's smart.
But it's
I'm looking to make that transition soon, but
So a small part of what we try to do with this show, as a band that most people also have not heard of, when we see things that we think would help, we try to offer
Yeah.
that, and so this was one thing that we both felt, yeah, we could. But I honestly missed the Bandcamp, so I'm glad to know that I
Yeah,
can. And if I had figured that
Yeah,
out earlier,
yeah.
I'd be wearing one of your shirts right now.
Yeah.
I literally would have done
'cause
that already.
he has a
so.
He has a penchant for buying the shirt of
Yeah.
whoever we're talking to, so that he can come on and impress them.
Well, as
having a
as
shirt.
long as we're talking about that, I may need to edit the stock on that that blue shirt that's up there now. We sold a couple of those on the road. They don't.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm seeing a lot of
It's all
sold
this.
out.
It's all this like. It's all this business minded stuff. That's.
Yeah, that turns a lot of people off. I mean, we're artists, dang it. We're not supposed to deal with this.
But we're rocking it, and we've actually been doing, surprisingly enough, a lot of people want to wear T-shirts that say "Dead Billionaires" on them. So I think that's
I'm
Yeah,
working.
work to our benefit for a minute.
Yes, I'll. Yeah, and I don't. I mean, I wear this T-shirt for this, but I generally don't wear T-shirts with stuff on them.
Right.
But I would wear that. It's like that's a. I mean, and that's one of the things we look at. When we're during the intro, the little intro program. It's like, hey, what's their socials like? Do they have a website? What's that like? But first and foremost is the name. Is it catchy? Is it is it intriguing? Does it spark thought or discussion? And I'm gonna have to put you at the top of the list for this one. Of course, I am biased. But
He's
from the name
predisposed
standpoint,
to
man,
No,
like
we'll take
this.
it. We'll take it.
yeah, I mean,
I
we
want to
gotta
know more
hang out
about
sometime.
I want to know more about the rest of the band. Like, who are
Yeah.
they? How did you guys meet? How did you guys find that playing music together was something that worked with you guys?
Yeah.
Like, how did that all come about?
So I first met our bass player Nick Turbovich. I've been playing with him since 2017. I first met him at Carey Street Cafe open mic, back when our first drummer was introing me. They had played together before, but we that was the old band, and then my buddy Kevin, like we met. When did we meet? 2021. I met Kevin, and then we had a guy Hunter was playing drums with us from 2021 until 2025. So Kevin's a pretty new addition to the band, but I've had quite a few lineups of this project, so it's been an interesting thing. But what's been nice is that Nick has always come back. Like Nick is just kind of in the atmosphere of this band. He's always been involved. I think there's only a couple of tunes he didn't play on, and I think that like him and I are like recently the 4-song EP that's going to come out in the fall. Like him and I have really like made a point to like sit down and write those songs together. So that was been a nice development for the band, has been that like we're really working on stuff. Like I'm better like lyrically, and he's really good at making the arrangements work.
Cool.
So yeah.
So it's not. Maybe it's more correct to say it's not anymore just you writing the songs. It's the band, or at least you and Nick.
Yeah. I'd say that's just kind of our process right now. Like I said, Kevin joined the band in January, so we brought these new songs to him, and we've been playing a lot, so we haven't really written any more beyond that. But it's a collaborative effort. I'd say that I have a lot of trouble giving up some creative control to other folks, but we all make it work in time. So.
And so the drummer you have now is not the guy we see in the videos.
No. The guy in the videos is Hunter Rhodes from Norfolk originally, but he is a master magician as well.
What?
Yeah.
So is
But no, Kevin Voorhees is our new drummer. He's an excellent player. Even better dude, you know.
And so, and you guys have a pretty good vibe in the studio and working together and all that. Your desire to sort of control the creative process doesn't get in the way of having a good vibe.
No, I'd say it's mostly like the writing and not the arranging, you know.
Yeah.
I like to let the players play, you know.
So the new album, where are you recording? Are you doing this yourself? Are you going to a studio? Like how are you recording for new songs? How's that worked for you guys today?
So our last record we cut with our buddy Chip Hale in his home studio in Lakeside. And for this one, we started doing the rhythm tracks with an old buddy of Nick's named Brendan Castle. And we're going to do guitars and vocals with Chip at his home studio. So, you know, nothing too crazy. I think it's sort of like the band is designed and executes as a pretty lean operation, you know, so we are always trying to like do things as live as possible. And, you know, there's only 3 people in the band, so we just try and like get all those parts figured out, and then we can tinker with things as we go from there, you know, extra harmonies and parts and stuff like that.
And do you act as the producer, or is it the whole band effort, producer wise, or do you let the engineer
I'd say I do a
in
lot
for-
of the producing, yeah.
And how do you
You're
find
also
that?
the Rick
How do you
Rubin
find
of
that
this.
reckons with it? Yeah. Well, no, because he actually plays the instruments, so you know the Rick. Plays
Well,
no
no, I'm saying he's
instruments.
also doing the Rick Rubin side of it. Is all. Yeah. What was your question though, Gery?
So how do you reconcile that? Because I hate producing my own stuff. I loathe it because I get too in the weeds. How do you cope with that?
I think the way that I cope with that is that I don't like I've never enjoyed a recording style where there's too much going on. I think it's sort of like if you don't give like room for the songs to be the song, that's kind of how I reconcile that, is because I just like don't, you know, like I'm focused on getting the guitar tone right and the bass tone right, and you know, like, and making sure the harmonies sound good, and then, you know, like any tiny bit of percussion we want to do, gang vocals, you know, like I've done you probably heard it on the record, but I have one like synthesizer part in a song, and I just thought, okay, cool, if that works out, that works out. But honestly, it's really nice. Like the reason why I like working with Chip Hale a lot is it's easy to like bounce ideas off of him. You know, I'd say that like ultimately, like I'm making all the decisions on what happens, but it's nice to have like a second opinion, because he's a master in recording and like just incredible musician, incredible dude. Like it's been nice. You keep really talented people around you that you know, that's the way to do it. His partner Tyler Meacham, who's an absolutely amazing songwriter, like she helped out with some of the harmonies in on the album. You know, it's like having a deep crew certainly helps, because it's not like I'm producing and like I'm demanding to do every part, because I can do all the things. As I can't do any of these things, you know, like I need to pull on the amazing people that I'm lucky enough to know, you know.
So you subcontract
One of your
a little
songs.
bit of it. Then.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd say so. You know, it's all a collaborative thing. Like I want to involve as many of the, you know, people I, you know, grew up with in the musical scene, I guess, you know.
one of the highlights of the first half of this episode was when I played Gery "Keep an Eye."
Yeah.
The acoustic version that you have up on YouTube.
Yeah.
and then the album cut. We both agreed. I mean, it's a great song either way, but your acoustic version is emotionally stirring. Your voice comes through. Gery talked about how you were attacking that acoustic guitar
Thanks.
and really going for it. Do you play out just solo a lot? Do you do a lot of like open mics or just solo shows in addition to the band stuff, or what?
I was for a while there. In 2022, I quit my day job and was like gigging a whole lot. And then when you start making a little too much money when you're gigging a whole lot, you make enough to not qualify for Medicaid anymore, but not enough to pay for having the insurance that they make you get. So
Yeah.
you get a day job again, and then anyway, I was playing out a ton then, and that's probably why that cut is super good, is because that was like when I was playing all the time. And I filmed that up in West Virginia with my buddy Josh Bryant Gaynor. Um, it was in this like little old hotel in Martinsburg, West Virginia. That
Was that a
super fun
performance
time.
with an audience, or was that just a video recording?
No, that was just me and Josh there.
Yeah.
It's funny. He's an advertising guy in New York City, and he's from West Virginia, and I'm from up near there. And I've known him for a long time, but he was just kind of on this little retreat, and he's like, "Well, do you want to come up and film like a little commercial bit, and like bring your guitar too, and we'll like do some of those." So it was
Sweet.
really cool, just like serendipitous little occasion to just get to meet up with him and put that out. So
I am not going to be at all surprised when I hear your songs on a commercial, in a TV show, in a movie. I think they're very, they work well for that. Like several of your songs just remind me of songs I've heard with TV shows. Like did you ever see the show Shameless? The theme song for Shameless. You
I
could
never saw
do
that.
it was on Showtime,
Mhm.
William H. Macy. I loved that show. But their theme song, I would never skip it, when I watched those
Yeah.
episodes, because it was so good. And your sound, your feel, your vibe, even your voice reminds me of them. It's a band called The High Strung, is that's who did that song. But no, I think your stuff is very very applicable. I think a lot of directors would be they would like to put your songs. I mean, this is just me,
Well, hey,
just my
hey,
opinion, but
yeah. JR, if you know a guy, that...
I don't know a guy, but I will, again, I just
We
won't be
know a guy
surprised
who
when it
knows a
happens.
guy,
There you go. That's the key.
Yeah.
and hopefully this will lead to some guy or girl.
Sure.
lady,
I'd
one
like to
that
stress,
might,
I think oh, I'm sorry, Gery. I think your audio is a little
No,
behind.
go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I mean to
Oh,
stress
interrupt me
as a
at all
band,
costs.
as a band who dislikes the billionaire class to a to the extent that we do. Let's not forget there's the working class and there's the owning class, and we're working and we want that money. Like I think it's very. I think some people have this misconception of, oh, you guys are dead billionaires. You want to, like, you don't ever want to make any money at all. I said, no, I just don't think that um this handful of people should.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, that's and we get into this all the time with different constituents of, yeah, just because I don't think people should have billions and billions of dollars does not mean that people should not live comfortably and make enough money
Yeah.
to, I monetize
Right.
everything. It's like I can't remember ever, even like in high school, I monetized. If I could do something,
Yeah.
I tried to get paid for it. I want,
Well, like
but I've always
I would
considered
say,
working class.
yeah, right. I would say that like there's a ton of value, especially in music, especially in like the DIY community where you make zero. And that is like,
Right.
and that is the shit that you do for your friends and for your community. And like, I totally support all of that. And like, I'm way into that. But, at the same time, like, I want to play music forever. And how do I ensure
Right.
that I play music forever? Is that
You make a living.
I don't don't make us, I don't have this be some giant suck of all of my funds. We gotta give it back a little bit. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
Would
that's.
you?
I mean we are so much on the same page with everything. It's amazing.
Would you consider yourself an optimist or a pessimist?
I think I am kind of um like I'd say like a relentless like optimist. I think that like unfortunately the situation that we're in leads to a lot of realism, about how things are going. But I don't think that ultimately, I think the human spirit is too resilient to, um, be torn down by things like, fascism and white supremacy and, you know, oligarchy. I think that like we're stronger than that and we know it.
Good.
I was going to say, just for the sheer fact that you quit your day job and went to pursue music full time, uh, there is no more optimistic action or feeling than that. Other than
Yeah,
working strictly on commission for an entire life, and or
sure.
playing music. I mean,
Yeah,
that's there's no such thing as a pessimist who is relying on their talents and
that's
get up
true.
and go.
Yeah,
That does not exist. No,
yeah,
pessimists are the ones that sit at a desk all day because
right.
that's the.
And I should say my day job now, I'm a community organizer. So it's one of those things where I'm just like
Sweet. We wrote a
it's all
song
about
about you.
oh, you did great. It's all
Yeah.
about, connecting everybody. I think that like the people who want to do good are out there. They just might not have all of the tools to make it happen.
Oh, we almost lost
Um,
our main host.
Uh-oh.
no, yeah, I'm good. I'm still here for now. Um, well, we've spoken about it several times. I think we're kind of coming to the end of this, Warren. I
Sure.
can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking some time out of the end of your day here to meet with us, to indulge us on our show. We hope that our listeners, of which there are not a lot right now, but this show is in its early stages. We hope to be
Sure.
able to be part of the story of how the Dead Billionaires get to be a much bigger name, household band, some way to make it possible for you to play music forever,
Hey,
and that would be awesome. In return, all we ask is maybe you mention this podcast, and maybe the floating,
sure.
the rising tide will float all the boats. I think I say that in every episode. I need to come up with a new one, but
Yes. No,
that's
that's the
literally what we're
perfect
trying
that's
to
the
do here.
perfect thing, man. But you didn't ask him the acid question, the one that you ask every time, and we have to
Oh wow.
we
Were,
have traditions
were
here.
you were you were you offended or taken back or annoyed that you were reached out to by a podcast called Bands You've Never Heard of?
Oh no, 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 no. That's not offensive to me at all. I think honestly, like I think so. Like literally, the most incredible musicians I've ever known are unknowns. There's like I find that it actually when you don't have that annoying little capitalist that exists in many of our heads that wants to progress and oh let's play a bigger stage and play for more people and when you don't have that instinct that's when you can be just like the absolute craziest best musician that I've ever seen. My friend Troy Crossley, he's played drums with us a couple of times. He's played bass with us on a couple of tours. He's an absolute road dog, creative maniac, and like he does not give a shit if like his music is reaching a giant audience. He just like wants to make the best thing. That is the gift. So I try and channel that as much as I can. I can't say I'm that person by any means, but I adore that person. So being unheard of is beautiful to me. So
Nice.
Well,
Do
hopefully,
you
we're gonna crush that and make you heard of. So
do you have any plans to come to Charlottesville anytime in the near future?
Yeah, I'm still working it out, but I believe September 13th we're going to be at Superfly Brewing, and then October 18th we're playing at the Book Club, which is
The book club in Charlottesville. Never heard of that.
yeah, it's they transform a bookstore named Daedalus.
Oh,
Hmm.
I've heard of Daedalus. Everybody in Charlottesville's
Yeah.
heard of Daedalus.
We've heard of
I didn't
Daedalus,
realize it was. Well, that's cool.
It's quite
yeah.
cool. I did a solo set there back in the spring, and I was like, oh, we got to get the band here
I
as soon as we
couldn't
can, so-
imagine doing even a 3-piece in there. I could see you
It's
doing
wild.
that solo,
It's wild.
definitely. But
Yeah, you can fit maybe
That's
13 people judiciously
Yeah.
in the room, but there's so many different nooks that you can still hear the music everywhere. So it's a really
Well,
fun spot.
if you're still looking for any bands to be on that bill, I just checked our calendar. We have that date available. So
Oh, sweet, cool. I am
check-
not sure.
we do.
I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to book that, or because last time I played there, I didn't book. The bill was predestined for me. So
well, this show is not
Predetermined.
supposed to be about us getting gigs, but I mean,
Yeah, sure.
if there's an opportunity that comes up,
But,
I mean,
you know,
it would be stupid not to take.
We ain't gonna
advantage of
turn
it.
one down, you know.
yeah, sure.
We're
Why not?
socialists,
Why
but
would
we
you?
ain't that socialist.
So
And we definitely
Warren,
got to
thank
hang
you
out
again.
sometime and talk about this. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We love to play. My favorite spot to play in Charlottesville is Dirty Nelly's.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
sweet.
played there a
That's-
few times.
That's the little dive of my dreams, so hopefully I'll see you
Yeah,
there.
I've literally been playing there for 40 years.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I for one will be paying attention to your TikToks, your deadbillionaires.com. Is it deadbillionaires.com
Oh, yeah.
or Dead Billionaires
yeah,
Band?
Dead Billionaires.
We almost did .net, but .com. It's a corporation.
Sweet.
Oh, no. Yeah, much better.
Paying attention to that for when your shows are, and I will if we don't play with you on the 13th, and I assume we're not, then I'll be coming to see you. I'll be one
Sweet.
of the 13 people in that tiny little bookstore.
Excellent.
And maybe that'll be our chance
No,
to hang out.
13th at Superfly.
Superfly.
Oh, Superfly.
The 13th
September
is at
13th
Superfly.
is at Super.
Yeah.
I should
I'll
say-
definitely be there then.
Yeah. Sweet.
I just
Awesome.
confused all of our listeners with when
No,
your
you're
shows
good. You're
are
good.
deadbillionaires.com. Check that out.
Yeah, check that
We'll
out.
put those in the show
That's
notes.
the way to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thanks, y'all.
And it'll
Thank
also
y'all so
be on
much. This has been
bino.com.
super fun.
Yeah, we have a
Thank you,
website too,
Warren.
BynhoPod, BYNHOPOD, BynhoPod.com. There's a separate page for each band that we feature on this show. I'm going to add all your songs to the Bands You've Never Heard Of complete playlist. So there's a ton of great music on there. And yeah, absolutely looking forward to it. Don't hang up, even though I'm about to say the show is over, because I have a couple after show questions for you.
Okay.
But thank you again for being here on the show, and tell the rest of the band we said hey, and I look forward to meeting you sometime soon.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank y'all so much. This is super fun.
Thank you. This episode of Bands You've Never Heard Of is a production of Ranch Hand Records. Find us at ranchhandrecords.com.
Band You've Never Heard Of is hosted by Gary Hawthorne and me, J.R. Stoppel.
Bands You Never Heard Of is written by JR and reacted to directly by me, Gary.
All songs used in this episode by the Dead Billionaires are used with the band's permission.
Check out the deadbillionaires.com link in the show notes.
Also, check out the official Band You've Never Heard Of, the complete playlist available on Spotify with music from every band ever featured on this show.
And it's available to you directly on bynhopod.com. That is BYNHOPOD.com.
We also do this show in video format, and you can see them every episode on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@BynhoPod.
And if you want to contact us directly, go to bynhopod@gmail.com. Once again, it's BYNHOPOD@gmail.com. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening.